I feel bad for the first soul who's actually listening. Could you imagine somebody 1,000 episodes deep, because we'll get there, going like, what did they sound in, like an episode 1, and they hear this? What a letdown.
Like, oh.
But with that said, I want to keep them on. Well, let's get the show started. This is episode 1, guys, of our show. The Nomads of Fantasy. And it was hard coming up with that name. I'm not going to lie. I think it took me about two years to make a fucking name for a goddamn podcast. It just getting it through, and I was happy enough with it. And, you know, it works. We'll see what happens after a while. But, yeah, here we are.
The nomad part makes sense. Because we kind of wander from genre to genre, and topic to topic, game to game, movie to movie, and I don't know. Right. No one's really set in our fantasy ways. I don't know how you put that.
Yep. Yeah. So it kind of doesn't pigeon us whole into one specific world. Like, it's not a Star Wars show, or it's not strictly sci-fi, or it says fantasy, but to me, fantasy, you're thinking about a place that's not where you are. That's all it is. It's not. I don't really play realistic games or watch realistic movies anyways, so there's always like Star Wars, I'm sorry, but the Force is magic. It's just called the Force, right? That's their science sci-fi version or whatever, right? Sci-fantasy. But we should probably introduce ourselves. So my name is Brandon. I am the host of the show, and I am with my buddies Eric and Dave. Go ahead and say hi.
Hello. I'm Eric.
Hello everybody. Bernie Mac.
And I bet that was really hard to do, because you want to sound cool. But we don't have cool voices, and that's okay. I think that's what keeps us on the normal
speak
side.
For yourself.
Well, we're going to get into some pretty nerdy stuff, and case in point, right? But we already kind of teased this stuff. This show is going to let us go across different mediums, right? Video games, movies, TV shows, maybe books, but mostly video games. That's the thing that kind of brought the three of us together. The three of us used to work together at a digital agency. So that's how we got to know each other. I personally am on the design side, and Dave and Eric have development backgrounds. Dave more on the project management side, and Eric, you're a developer. So we just get how to make projects in the digital space, right? So that's what's cool about video games. And I know you guys have dabbled with that. Maybe you have it. I know Dave has it. Have you, Eric?
Yeah, I took some classes in college on game development. I made a couple mobile games, just little projects like that, but nothing too crazy.
And Dave's been always working on whatever that balloon.
Maybe one day. Fall in and out of Unity. No project ever gets completed, but I know enough to sound somewhat intelligent sometimes.
Right. Well, and it's a passion of ours, video games, and obviously we want to make it, but whatever. We made a lot of websites together, and that's cool, but we've moved on since. We're still friends, and we're still talking about this stuff, so why not record it? Maybe it's for ourselves, or maybe it's for whoever will listen to the show. The things that we do want to cover, though, are going to be, movie reviews, a game that comes out that we really like, and then just kind of, I don't know, I'm 40, Dave's around my age, Eric's a little bit younger, but I've been playing games since the 80s. I had an Atari, I remember these consoles and games coming out. It's just cool to think about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, I'm the baby of the podcast. I'm only 26 years old, so, I mean, obviously I don't have as much history with video games as you guys, but, I mean, I started playing video games when I was like 4 or 5 years old. The first game that I can remember playing was Sonic the Hedgehog on Sega Genesis, so that's
the first?
Yeah, yep, that's probably my earliest gaming memory. And then I was a huge Pokemon kid, so that was my childhood.
Are you still Pokemon?
Yeah, I missed out on Pokemon.
I haven't picked up a mainline game in a while, but I got one of them on Switch, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. That's the last one I played, but I'm still.
Did you have the binder of cards?
I did. Yeah, I was big into Pokemon cards back then. I sold them all eventually, when Yu-Gi-Oh got big, I transferred to Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yep.
Kicking yourself now, aren't you?
I am. Oh my God.
I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. Is it still going on? I apologize if it is. I
don't know if I don't know. I mean, people still play Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know if the anime is still going on or not, but I used to watch the show too.
If they made you know how Pokemon Go exists?
Mm-hmm.
Could they make would it be Yu-Gi-Oh Go?
Yu-Gi-Oh Go.
That sounds
They could make a fucking Go game out of anything. They made one out of Harry Potter that kind of flopped. No one really played that.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because I didn't play Pokemon, but the whole idea is to collect. So
yeah.
It made sense with the AR. It made sense.
My kid's in 2nd grade and she does. I mean, she's seen the Pokemon movie, but she's come home with Pokemon cards in her backpack, and I've never bought her a pack before. So they're out there in the wild. They're circulating amongst the small hands of our public elementary
schools. That's a huge franchise. It's a massive. It's bigger than Star Wars.
It's the biggest media franchise in the world.
Yeah. I don't know, pop culture wise. I don't think people are quoting it.
Money wise,
I think Star Wars always win on something like that. Nobody knows maybe they know the music to Pokemon.
It is the most money making media franchise in the world.
It's huge. It's huge.
Is it because there's nothing else to do in communist China? Or is it
I don't know. Do they play?
Pokemon? I thought it was.
I thought it was.
What is it? Japan. It's a Japanese game.
It's a Japanese
franchise. It was banned in China.
Yeah, Pokemon Go is still huge too. It's going strong.
I guess
all right, so real quick though, I kind of outlined how these episodes would go, and I think the content will go all over the place. I think we're trying to have fun. We'll pick cool topics or whatever, some obvious things like reviews, like I said, throw in some games in there. But I kind of wanted to quickly kind of get people familiar with us, right? So they know our names, and here we are kind of talking about whatever. But what worlds, do we most enjoy? And they don't have to be worlds you want to live in, but when you play a game, you want to explore every corner of that game. It might be a side quest, and you can't wait to do it because the game just keeps growing and growing. Or if it's a movie, you just know you're going to see the sequel. Are there books? Is there TV shows? What are some of those worlds that whatever that you can just think of right now that are that's a great world. I want more of it. I don't want to open shut case on this one. What else? I want to lose myself to this world. Which is the obvious Star Wars. I know we all like Star Wars. I wouldn't have to beat that. That's an easy one. But what else do you guys have out there? I'll throw one out there you're not even thinking of. Friggin' Zootopia. Dude, I don't know how.
I was not expecting that.
It's a good movie.
Dude, I love Zootopia, and it blows me away. It's not an amazing movie to me. It's good. It's fun, and my son Jack, when he was younger, he was watching it a lot. But they keep zipping around and going to these different areas, and I'm just you only get to see a portion of it, and it's such a cool idea, and it's so fun, and I can't believe they've only had one. I mean, we're recording this in 2021, and COVID has slowed a lot of things down. But where is more Zootopia? The movie did really good for Disney, I thought. No games, no Lego game. You know what I'm saying? But
no annoying
I want to throw that
numbers. That's a big plus in my house for me. If I can get through a movie without having to listen to song after song and then hearing those songs come up on Alexa every day at dinner and all that kind of stuff. Thank God.
If you think about it, Zootopia would make a good video game. You got the different biomes. You got so many different jobs. If you take up the role as a cop, you can have all these investigations, traveling around these different biomes, doing interviews. That would make a good video game.
Oh, and the DLC would be really good. Just add another world, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yes. How do they not do this? I could see freaking Rockstar, they wouldn't do something like this. It's too childish, but they're really good at building immersive worlds. And they did an amazing job with Grand Theft Auto, obviously, but Red Dead Redemption still blows me away whenever I just walk around in that world. I'm this is insane that this exists. And Zootopia, with that amount of detail, with all the creatures, that would be amazing. Well, yeah, what did you guys pick? What do you guys got listed?
If we're talking about video games, I'll mention Brandon's favorite video game, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Hyrule.
Oh my God. I got that on there.
I'm going to get it out of the way right now. I don't not like Zelda. I have a good history with Zelda in the beginning era. I just don't like that sword breaking shit that happens in Breath of the Wild. It turns me off. I got to get over it.
There's a very good reason why it's in there. Because if the weapons didn't break, you would stick with one weapon the entire game. You wouldn't care about picking up any other weapons. You know, you gotta.
I don't want to.
You gotta try out different weapons. You gotta, but seriously, no. The world. Going back to the world part, that world is like probably the best designed world in a video game that I've ever seen. Like, the way that they built it, like you see something, like you just see
more than a Red Dead Redemption.
Yes, absolutely. You just see you see, I don't know, a mountain or a hill. You think to yourself, I bet there's something up there. I bet there's something cool up there if I just take the time to climb up that mountain. And
I already did that last night with the kids. Same thing. So saw something cool on the map, set a marker, and just ran. We've just been chugging through that game a lot recently.
And that's the thing about that game. Whenever you think that, I bet there's something cool up there, there always is. Like, you climb to the top of a mountain, there's a treasure chest with a cool weapon.
I do like the reward. I do like a reward. I hate when I explore and there's nothing there. I do like the reward for sure. And Skyrim actually did that for me. Like, every time I was like, saw something, I'm like, I'll just go underneath that bridge for some reason. And there's like a skeleton body with, treasure. So I do get the reward thing. I got to get over my hate for that system. I have to explore it more. I haven't seen much of it at all.
You just have to accept it.
That game.
If you embrace it, I guarantee you'll like it. Like, just like whatever your weapons you pick up, just use them until they break. Move on to the next one. With that game though, I did get into the habit of like, okay, I would pick up this really good weapon, and then I would be afraid to use it, so I would save it forever and then never use it. I might use it on like a big boss fight or something, but I would be so afraid to break it, because it's such a good weapon.
Yeah, that's what I hated. I would have like a really cool weapon, and I would have like a skeleton bone or whatever, and I would break the skeleton bone fighting something, and then I'm like, I guess I'll just run away from this monster because I don't want to use my really good weapon on this thing. So I'm just running around. It drives me nuts.
There's so much more you need to do, though. You get the hammers for breaking your ores. You get your wood chopping axes. You get your ice rods for fighting fire guys. Your fire rods.
Love that.
Electricity stuff. It's just.
I do love that. Love that.
You got your two.
The elemental. Yeah,
yes.
the elemental systems in that game are so freaking cool. Like, the way that you can like use your like swords to conduct electricity to solve the puzzles and the shrines, like that stuff just is so cool.
I won't deny that. That is dope. And when you experience it in the game, it's kind of like, I want all games to have this. And Breath of the Wild introduced a lot of cool things. The climbing was really good. The whole physics that they introduced, and the lightning and just outthinking, even with the developers, they were talking about that. I remember hearing stories where they would be impressed just with the players would come up with. And I think that's a good game when you're impressing some of the best in the industry with what they've made, and they didn't even like, wow, we didn't even think about that. So that is awesome. I do like that.
Dude, today, 4 years after the game came out, there's still videos coming out of people discovering like things you can do in that game, which just like, I don't know, that's just a testament to how well designed that game is.
All right, God.
What else you got for us, Eric? Let's hear another one.
As far as game worlds, one that I've played recently that might be my favorite example of world building. I told you guys about this before when I was playing it, but Control. That game.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about Control.
Control.
I want to hear more about this because I have a love-hate with was it Remedy, right?
Yep.
And they've made Max Payne, not Max.
Yep, Max Payne. You're right.
Yeah.
Max Payne, except for Max Payne 3, if Rockstar made that one. But Alan Wake.
What's the other one?
fuck, I don't remember. But yeah, Control.
Yes.
Control.
That one is one of those things where you pick up everything you pick up, you end up reading. Because
yes,
there's some games where like you don't really give a shit about stuff you pick up, but stuff in that game is interesting enough where, you know, specific wings that you're going into have a story behind them, and you figure out what the fuck
I do like the
there.
exploration in that. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
it's beautiful looking.
That's the
cool.
thing. That's the thing that got me about that game. Was like like Dave was saying, all the stuff you pick up. I don't know. I'm not normally one to like read through like stuff like that in a game, but literally everything I picked up in Control, I would have to read it because
like
it was so interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like they did a good job with the storytelling in that a little bit. I just didn't like her. Nothing against her, I guess. Like I feel like she was just too flat. Like she's just not weirded out by any of this stuff. But maybe the end of the game.
I mean, there's kind of a reason for that. Like she's been dealing with this stuff all her life.
That's true.
She's kind of used to it. I mean, she's literally she literally has talks to someone in her head. Like that's been with her since she was a teenager. So
fair enough.
I feel like there's a little bit of precedent for that, but yeah, I don't know. That Control is like an amazing example of world building that I haven't really seen before in a game.
Speaking of amazing world building, how about that BioShock series? Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Yes. Because Eric, you haven't played that, right?
There's another one where you just read everything.
Infinite's the only one I played.
And that one has a lot of good environmental stuff where, you know, same thing, you know, find that one has tons of audio logs because apparently in Rapture everybody carried around a tape recorder. I mean, they're absolutely great for environmental storytelling. They don't really make much sense why somebody's just recording a diary as they're walking around, you know, this tiny little
Wasn't
space.
BioShock like one of the first games to do audio logs?
Probably not. I'm sure that can't be true. I mean,
I feel like it's one of them that popularized it anyways. It might not have been the first, but the idea of audio, like picking up recordings and listening to them.
Maybe because of audio. Yeah, maybe because of that part. Like I know other games have had things you can read, like read a letter and all that stuff. But yeah, maybe it's the audio. I do like that though, Dave. That's like a good reward system if you're into it. If you really want to learn more, you could play that game. But if you want to learn about that world, why the hell this cafe is the way it is or whatever, like they have these cool stories, and they also introduce some side quests, I think.
They may, but that's
or
like
give you hints or something like that.
If you're gonna plow through the game and you want to just get through the level, you certainly can. But if you don't look, you look behind the bar, you see a little skeleton, and of course they're holding a bottle of gin and a 8-track. You know, you keep on going. So that's just a good one I wanted to call out.
BioShock in general.
Yeah, Infinite.
I have that
same kind of theory, but it's definitely good world building there. Even though the story, I don't know. We'll leave it at that.
I don't think it's a bad story.
No, it's
BioShock
just,
in general.
No.
Well, hold on a second. You talking about Infinite?
Yeah.
You talking about how it ends?
Yes.
I fucking love BioShock Infinite. It's one of my favorite games. I love that game, dude.
We're gonna talk for another hour about that, but another one that I think is probably on a lot of our lists is we've all played Elder Scrolls games. Those are
Skyrim.
Yes.
Skyrim's on my list.
Those are pretty fantastic. Those are ones that not even I don't even read everything I pick up because if I find I don't know, some town history that's 12 pages long, I am not sitting through that. But you know, some of the environmental storytelling obviously in those games and a lot of the quests that you go on,
dude, yeah,
pretty unique and some good stories there.
That was one of the things that blew me away. Like the first time I played Skyrim was just the sheer amount of lore that they wrote. Like nobody is ever gonna go through and read every single one of those books in Skyrim.
People, dude,
that's
you know
insane.
How there's like Star Wars nerds? There are nerds for this stuff. They love it. My brother, when he plays, he would read some of it. I tried reading some of them. It's actually pretty fun. I like reading like the shorter ones.
I read a lot of them, but yeah, some of them, like you said, are like 12 pages long. I'm like, I mean, some of them, if they're interesting, I'll sit through there and skim it, or flip through it and read it. But some of them are like actual book length. I'm like, who is that gonna sit here and read all this? It's insane.
And it's in their weird Elder Scrolls handwriting stuff, so it's harder to read than actual regular text. Just like, give me a. I guess they don't write in sans serif typography, 16 point.
I can't read this.
But at the same time, it just makes it that much a little harder, when you got to read somebody's chicken scratch handwriting.
It'd be interesting if they added some form of audio log. I know, like, it's not a tape recorder, but the option to listen to that lore while I go fuck up some dragons.
Yeah. Well, you can always figure out a game mechanic for anything. You can just figure out some memory thing where you touch a dead body and you get to hear its last thoughts or something like that, and boom, rinse, wash, repeat.
Elder Scrolls does something that many games don't do, at least when it comes to like these massive open world games. Where I'm sorry, but like Zelda doesn't even come close to this. They don't have people don't even speak. There's no voice acting in that game. And I don't think you can kill NPCs. I don't think you can kill them asleep in their bed. Like, you can do bonkers things.
Don't act like the voice acting is good in those games.
I know. Can we have it? I know. Oh my God, the acting in all Elder Scrolls games so far. Well, I guess the ones that have had audio, so bad. You would when they did by Oblivion. I loved it. I played it a lot. And I was like, okay, how did they, I guess, limitations, like 5 actors did this whole game, and the voice actors didn't even bother to fucking change their voice, but it is what it is. And I was like, all right, okay, Skyrim's going to have more. They have kids in this one, they have old people, young people. So, they're making the NPCs more unique. But they have, 8 voice actors. I couldn't believe it. Is it because it just takes up too much space? Like, why? Will Elder Scrolls 6 have at least 50 people? I mean, you need a variety of people.
There was a behind the scenes thing, I don't know, a couple years ago when they first announced Elder Scrolls 6 of how they are getting a lot more voice actors and more unique NPCs in there.
A WAV file is a WAV file. Yeah. Dude, go to the community. Do you know how many friggin' people I would love to do I'll just read these 50 lines over and over again. Real quick. One of the things I do love about Rockstar, I couldn't believe it. I don't know if any other game has done this. But Red Dead Redemption 2, and correct me if I'm wrong, but are there 2 versions of every audio file for, when you go on a quest, you're always riding with somebody and they're kind of talking at you, and Arthur's always talking with the person. But if they get too far from you, they will start yelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could.
So it's this dynamic. So it has, if your character and the other character are too far, it will swap out the audio file and put another audio file in where they will yell instead of talk.
Yeah, that's
which is insane.
Super impressive.
That's pretty bonkers. I've never thought about that.
You didn't notice that? It's in the game, and I saw somebody else make a comment or heard about somebody making a comment. It might have been GameScoop. It might have been the GameScoop crew. They were talking about that, but I was just like, yes, that is unreal. Do these takes. Imagine being the guy who did Arthur and all the other main characters that you're encountering. They had to do it for everything. That's just, I've never seen something like that, but I just remember that.
Fallout or whatever, when you get too far away, they just switch over to the walkie-talkie, or Far Cry or something like that. They just put take that same voice line and put a static, radio squelch over it and just keep it running. So that just makes it that much more impressive, I guess.
How have we not brought up the Mushroom Kingdom? I mean, I guess it's obvious as well, like Star Wars. Of course I want to be there. Of course I want to play there. I want to.
Do you though?
It's amazing. It's perfect.
It's all right.
Do you know the story? Do you know the story of the first Super Mario Brothers, where all the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom got turned into blocks, and then Mario's just going around smashing blocks, so all the residents are just getting killed by Mario? Canon? That is canon.
Is that canon?
That is canon. It was literally in the instruction manual in the original Super Mario Brothers.
So the blocks are people?
Live there.
The blocks are the residents of the Mushroom Kingdom. Bowser turned them into blocks, and Mario is going around smashing, killing residents.
A savage right there.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to live there.
Yeah, the whole Mario, I don't know. Historically, Nintendo, with their older franchises, never did a good job with the naming, and I don't think that if they focus on gameplay and character design and then story. I think that's got to be the order. I mean, it's the Mario brothers. His name is Mario.
Mario, actually.
So it's Mario, Luigi Mario. Yoshi has like this absurd name. Link from Zelda is Link, and it's The Legend of Zelda, but you don't even play as Zelda, you play as Link. But it's just like their names have always been kind of bad. But I don't think anybody's like, oh man, what is the story of Super Mario Galaxy 2? I hope it's this. Who's playing these games for the story? There's no story. No. Surprise! Zelda was kidnapped, and Bowser's going to be the enemy in Mario. Like these are they do.
Yeah, it's not about the story. It's about like you said, it's about the gameplay.
It's about the gameplay. Yeah, but I do like running around it. It's always beautiful. Like I've always thought of Nintendo and their developers as being like the Disney, Pixar of video games. You just know it's going to be good and high quality, and charming and timeless, just like a Pixar movie is.
This might be a good transition to our next topic of what we've been playing lately.
Ooh, yes.
I have been playing Super Mario 3D All-Stars, specifically Mario Galaxy, for the first time. I'm going through Mario Galaxy.
Played Galaxy.
Dude,
I always wanted to.
Oh my god.
It looks so good. I love that concept.
Dude,
you liking it?
I think it might be one of my favorite Mario games.
Damn.
It's so good.
Have you played all of them? Is this like the only one that you never played?
I've never played Galaxy 2. I've played most of the mainline ones. But this is a big one. Galaxy's been a big one. But I'm going for the all 120 stars. I've never 100%ed a Mario game before, so this one I actually want to do. Like, I've been having so much fun playing it that I just want to get everything. But dude,
how are you playing it? You said on Switch?
It's on Switch. Yeah, they released that Super Mario 3D All Stars collection. Yeah, it has Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy in one collection. I played through Super Mario 64.
Never played Sunshine either.
I played a little bit of it as a kid, but yeah, I haven't gone back to it since then. But I played Super Mario 64 for the first time last year when I got it, and that game still holds up really well.
That game is pretty good. Yeah.
Like, it blew me away when I first played it at Toys R Us back when it came out. I was just like, oh my god, 3D Mario. This is amazing.
It's really funny playing 64 and Galaxy back to back. Like, you can see a lot of the inspiration for the control. Like, the controls between 64 and Galaxy are almost identical. Like, all the moves you can do with the side jump, long jump, all that stuff's in there still. But obviously they added a bunch of new mechanics for Galaxy. But to just playing Galaxy, it just feels so good. Fucking all Mario games feel so good. I want to go back to Odyssey too. I gotta finish it. You didn't even finish the main story.
I don't finish games, dude. I don't finish games. But Mario is so fucking good because you're always. It's just always introducing some cool mechanic, and it feels great. I love it. I do. I don't know. I don't know, man. I multiplayer is where I'm mostly at. You know how I am with single player games. I can only play against a computer for so long until I'm like, I need to be challenged. And I just forget I have a Switch. After because I'm working through all these friggin' amazing PS4 exclusives right now like a dumbass. I mean, who the hell plays God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever else is huge. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh my god! Like, I'm playing all these games. I got something else. Days Gone. I got all these exclusives that that are all amazing, and I'm playing through them.
All on PS4. You're clearing out the pile of shame, is what you're doing.
Yeah, dude. And what I want to do is some of them. I love this because Nintendo does this, but Horizon Zero Dawn is do you want to play this in story mode? Hell yeah, I do. Like, I don't need to fight a dinosaur and hit it like 50 times. How about just 5 times? Like, don't just like. I love story mode. I honestly like this could be a segment one day, but like, what games would you finish if they just offered a story mode? You know, because in a way, Elder Scrolls does. You can just adjust the difficulty on the fly. That game. Mm-hmm. It's like, this vampire is like too hard. I'll just.
I hate games.
Save and lower it.
I hate games that lock you into a difficulty like throughout the whole game. Like, oh, you choose this one at the start, and you're not going to be able to change it ever. Like, I don't know. If, like you said, if you just want to fucking get through a boss real quick and you don't feel like struggling with it for an hour, just bump down the difficulty and beat the boss and move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no shame. I feel like I was losing some pride doing like, I'll play this on normal, and then I'm like, I'll not play it on easy. Now I'm like, how about story? What about you, Dave? What have you been working on?
I value my time more than my pride these days.
Yes.
I'd rather play more games. More games than, because I mean, there's back in the day when you were a kid too, you only had 5 games. So if you can't beat it on this difficulty level, tough shit. I mean, you only got 4 of the choices. Now Game Pass, you get like 4 every 2 weeks, so it's you can't even keep up. So
yeah, Game Pass is ridiculous. But yeah, what do you you're always pulling games out and working on things.
What do I got here? Game Pass actually added a couple things recently that I've been digging
I saw you playing the Destroy All Humans.
Destroy All Humans I dabbled into a little last night. They actually did a really nice job with that. All like up-resing and remastering of everything. Like,
I love the artwork.
It's solid. So I slaughtered a couple cows, jumped to the next thing. I'm usually a couple games a night. So there is a game called Armello, which is a digital board game that just came out on. I think that might have actually been Games with Gold, but it is a board game where you're little animals and making moves around a hexagon map every turn, and it gets. I think Kotaku called it like Game of Thrones with animals, and that's kind of exactly the most accurate description. Armello, like Carmelo.
That sounds like a very Davey game.
It is. It's not pixel based, but it's got actually super good art style to it. Some of the controls could be better. The map kind of sucks, the overworld, but I mean you get around that. But it's a cool game. I wouldn't say it's a something that's going to stay in rotation, but it's something good. The tutorial on it takes a while, and if it's late, it takes a little bit to get through. But that was one. Yes, Your Grace. Was on Game Pass.
Played that for like 10 minutes or something like that. I was like, I just squeezed it in. I was like, oh, all right, now it's not the time to play this. And I want to play it. You happy with that? I know you've been dabbling with it.
It's cool. I went through my first run basically of it, and the villagers got angry and came into my kingdom or into my castle with pitchforks and murdered me. But more or less, you're just trying to run a kingdom, and you know that in like 22 months, the wildlings are coming across the wall, and the wildlings are coming to kill you. So you gotta make nice with some lords and ladies, and are you gonna give farmer money, or are you gonna give the gypsies from the wood the money? So
do you pretend you're Ned Stark in season 1? Is that what you're really doing?
Yes, you're just trying to play straight and narrow, but you see how well that went for Ned, so that's kind of what happened my way. But that's actually a super good game. It's got a good thing to it. But the other one this week, it's kind of interesting, is 5 Dates. That's the game with the lady. So me and the wife have been playing. It's a what do you call it? I don't know which category you put it into. A video choose your own adventure, full motion video.
Is it
interactive? They called it an interactive rom-com,
same
I believe.
Genre.
So you're a guy who is in the pandemic, and you're starting to digital date and fill out your profile. Pick out your picture. You pick out where you work and stuff, and you get the 5 same girls, and you pick 3 to go on digital dates with, and you gotta schmooze with them a little bit, and you got your best buddy who's pumping you up before each date with his little video chats. But it's a good girlfriend couch game. You can get through the entire thing in like 2 hours, I'd say. You can make one run through it with and end up with a decent ending. And we ended up playing it a couple nights this week. Ended up dating 2 different girls. It was interesting. It's got a little bit of replayability where you might want to see a couple of them, but after that, it's kind of off to the side. But that one's only $12, something like that.
I feel like that's a good Game Pass game, honestly, just because of what you said. Because it's unique and you want to experience. And I've played those kind of games before. There was another one too that we played. That was on Game Pass. Like, just put something like that on Game Pass because that's what I play. That's what I pay Game Pass for. The games that I kind of want to dabble in, probably don't want to buy outright, because if I'm buying a game, it's got to be good. Otherwise, I'm just gonna wait for the DLC, wait for the the price to drop. Especially single player games, it's really hard for me to be like, really,
dude. Yeah,
I gotta play this now.
I'm struggling with that because we got Returnal that just came out. We got.
Is that good?
I haven't played it.
Good reviews, right? Oh, okay.
But I've seen like some streams of it, and it looks really fun. Returnal, Pokemon Snap, Resident Evil 8, and then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart comes out next month.
Ooh, I gotta see this trailer. They're saying the animation's like stellar. Yeah.
I can't decide what to buy, man. I can't buy like 4 $70 games. Like, I think I'm gonna wait for Ratchet and Clank, just because I think I'm most excited about that one, and I know the other games will probably go on sale, but Ratchet and Clank I think is the one that I'm most excited for. It looks insane. Gotta have a PS5 to play it though, which I do have.
Yeah, sweet.
Sad trumpet.
Dave and I are Xbox mainly. I got it. I was a PC gamer. I was a Nintendo kid growing up. Never had a Sega, but I thought Sonic was super cool. And then I remember getting a PC. I was a big PC gamer. Dabbled with the first PlayStation. Loved PC, and PC gaming was so. I mean, it's so cool, and I just don't do it anymore. And then I got I played my brother's Halo at his house or his apartment or whatever back in the day. And I was just like, this game looks lame. You can play first person. I was playing Counter-Strike as competitive as I could go with it. And I remember playing Halo, and I'm like, this is amazing. A first person shooter that plays well on a console, and that was it. Halo still holds up. Just the first one still holds up. It's so impressive what Bungie did.
I just replayed that. I played through the entire campaign of the first Halo last year, and dude, yeah, like you said, it still holds up. It's still so fun.
So you're making me think of something that I've always wanted to talk about. I always forget, and it still goes on today. And we've kind of talked around it already, but like, this is the first game I can kind of think of. I know it's not the first, but like, it's one of the first games I can think of where. And I like to play video games with headphones. It lets me play games at night. We're all dads, right? We all get this. So like, you kind of play games at night when everybody's asleep. But I've all just like growing up too. I just like to kind of get immersed and stuff like that. And Cortana always speaking into my ears. Like, I felt like the Master Chief in the game. I would just be playing it, and then the action would kick in, and she'd be saying things and all this stuff. And I always thought that was like a really cool thing. And other games do that. The audio logs do it a little bit, where you're playing, but somebody's always talking to you. The Arkham games, the villain is always like taking over the city and chatting at you and always talking at you. And I don't know, I just like games where like the AI or somebody can always, like, even Call of Duty, like, if you notice, there's always like somebody buzzing in your ear giving you commands. I've always liked that. Firewatch is another example, where you're the one woman with the walkie-talkie. She's at the other tower where she's communicating to you. I don't know, I just want to bring that up. I just always thought that was really cool how Cortana's like in my head, just like, yes, like, I'm Master Chief, of course she's gonna be talking to me like this. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's a cool game. I actually have that listed as one of the worlds I kind of want to explore, or live in, or something like that. Like the Halo universe. I thought that was always. It's our world, but there's aliens in it.
Is this shit all blown up though? I guess it's a whole different discussion.
Well, the first Alien, it's weird. I was picking on like Nintendo with their naming. Here I am, like Xbox guy, and I'm like, yes, friggin', it's called Halo. You play as Master Chief. It's called Halo, and you blow up the first Halo, and the first spoilers for a 20-year-old game, but like you blow up the first Halo. It's not Halos, it's Halo. You blew up the first Halo. And now there's like other Halos. I don't know, it's a sloppy name, but it's cool to say, I think. Alright, well, I think we should move on. Let's get into... I didn't really talk about games I'm playing. Actually, I can do that really quick. I just want to throw this out there. I'm working on Red Dead. I have so many games I'm working on. Red Dead Redemption 2, because it's forever. And it's just... still playing it. God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, Doom Eternal, Far Cry 5. I only have like the sister and then the main guy at the end. I'm pretty close to that one. Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, because I will go back to it. Avengers, and I don't know, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think is a fun game. Like I do want to get back to playing that game, but it's been out for a while. Problem with Assassin's Creed. Shame. Yeah, you're always kind of like Assassin's Creed is always like you're always like doing the same thing. You're just constantly, like I don't know, just hunt down this person. I don't know. There's no variety really.
Tried and true game design, but
right, Eric. Remember we were talking about that, like how stupid it was, where they just had like a warthog in a certain area will slaughter me if I'm not a high enough level. It makes no sense.
Dude, I hate that. I hate that shit.
So much attention to the world.
The level gating and especially
level gating.
The new Assassin's Creed and Origins and Odyssey. I hate that. It just makes
super annoying.
Yeah, it makes you feel like shit.
It ruins it.
You go into an area. Oh, dead in 2 hits. I guess I can't go here until I level up like 5 more levels, and it really annoyed me because story missions were level gated too. So like I would be like level 20 and my next story mission I would have to be like level 28. And so I would have to grind and do like side quests and side missions to progress in the story. It was super annoying.
Once I get a taste of grind, I put the controller down. I can't I just like, all right, I guess I've experienced all this game has to give me. I'm grinding at this point, and I've done this. So nobody is going to be impressed with me if I keep going. Like, it's really for my own self-pleasure. So once I notice the grind, I'm like, I'm out. I'll come back when I want to experience this gameplay, but once I kind of tap out.
If the gameplay loop is fun enough, I'm fine with grinding, but usually I'm like, if it gets too repetitive, I'm like, I don't really feel like doing this anymore.
Right, which is cool about games like Breath of the Wild or like Red Dead or Elder Scrolls is
the dynamic questing.
Once you can get bored, once you get bored, you can just be like, I'll just be a thief now, or I'll just whatever. You can just change up your weapon system and just make the game totally different. Like I'll be a really nice guy in Red Dead Redemption with Arthur, and then other times like, you know what, I'm just gonna shoot my way through this one. I don't really care. I just want the gold and buy something or something like that. Like.
Well, Breath of the Wild, you can start up the game and go to the final boss right away.
Yeah, if you played the game like 20 times, nobody can just do that. Here you go. You can beat it right now if you want. No, you gotta. But yes, it is kind of cool, baby. Potentially. Yeah, speedrunners, which is weird. I can't believe people have like interest in doing that. Like, don't you have any other hobby, like learning piano, or like you're really just gonna master Donkey Kong or something like that? Like, whatever. It's just weird. Donkey Kong Country, like, I'm a speedrunner for that. Like, not to knock them. I mean, like, if that's what you're into, but it's just, to me, it's just, ugh. Like, I could barely get through a game. You want to speedrun these games? I don't even know how it's even possible. People beat these games. I am impressed with the headlines. Like, somebody beats, like, Super Mario in, like, 2 minutes. Not even. It's probably something like 30 seconds. It's insane.
Yeah,
I like to do any of this stuff.
You gotta
like
get the no glitch ones. Ones that without glitches are good when you see some of the shit that people pull off. Like, you watch somebody beat Super Mario World in 12 minutes, and you're like, that took me like fucking controller. 4 weeks when I was a kid. Yeah. So, there's varying levels of that, I'd say.
Yeah, and then other games you get, like, they'll glitch through a wall and they just get to the end of the game, and then it's like, yep, that beat it in 2 minutes. Cool.
Yeah, that's lame. They should be shamed. But the opposite of speed running is playing the game. And what's hard and expected at the end is a boss of some level. So I was kind of curious, like, what are some of the boss fights that you guys would pick? I'll go real quick just to kind of, because I need to get this out. And I don't know, Eric, if you ever played it, but like, boss fights were always like bullet sponges growing up. Like, that was just always the case. Like, there's the average guys, and then the bosses were just bigger, and they just absorbed more bullets or punches, whatever. But then a game called Metal Gear Solid came out, and for many reasons, that game blew me away. I didn't know you could do that in general with a game. It was like a movie. I was like, this is next gen. That was a next gen moment. Like, sometimes you don't really get the next gen feeling. Sometimes a generation will come around and be like, this is like, I've never experienced this before. But I was already set in that game. Like, this is a game that I'll never forget, and I'm loving every encounter. But when I got to Psycho Mantis, it was surreal, dude. It was so... Dave, did you play that game back in the day?
I have never played Metal Gear.
Oh my god! Yeah, and Eric, you haven't, right?
I may have dabbled in 2 a little bit, but I never stuck.
Yeah, the only one I've played is a little bit of 5, but yeah, I know about Psycho Mantis fight.
Dude, it is so... The fact that it was just so cool because so many things are going on, right? And you're just like blown away that this game exists, and you're really into this world. It's really, I don't know how far this is, like halfway point, maybe like 3/4 or something like that, maybe towards the end, I don't know, but it's been a long time. But when you have like memory cards, and like you're using memory cards, and it was like storage was a big deal back then. So it's like you're very careful with your memory discs and your memory cards, and when you put it in, it was just insane. Maybe because there weren't that many games out at the time, but it would read and mock you. He would mock you for what games were on your memory card, and I was just like, this is crazy, and it's so in character with like that guy, like Psycho Mantis, who's just like, this is the character who would do this. And then I was just instantly blown away when you had to unplug your controller from port 1 and put it in 2, and he would constantly like shake your controls and mess with you. It was just, I don't know. To this day, maybe it's a gimmick now, but like, I just never ever even close experienced a boss fight like that, you know. I could see something like Gladys from Portal, because she's a fantastic...
That was a good one. Yep.
Yeah. But she never really did anything other than... She's a fantastic villain, but she'd never mess with you like that. But that was the only time I thought might happen. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys thought. I had to get that one out there because I was around for it. I was just fucking blown away. To this day, just love it.
I'll bring one up. We've all played the God of War 2018, right?
I haven't finished it yet, but like, the opening fight is sick, and
dude, yeah, that's what I was talking. Yeah, the boulder fight, like,
yeah, I'm like a third or halfway through.
I had that down.
Dude, yeah, oh my god, like that is just a fight that sets the tone for that entire game.
You think you're watching a movie,
dude? It's it's so like cinematic, and like, oh, it's just the way they're flying around, just punching the shit out of each other. It's just so fucking good. I know you guys aren't. I probably have never seen Dragon Ball Z at all, but I love Dragon Ball Z, and that is just like the embodiment of like a Dragon Ball Z fight where they're just flying around, just punching the crap out of each other.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I got those vibes. Absolutely.
I just love that vibe. Fucking, oh my god, so good. Just throwing boulders at each other, like that is one way to set the tone for a game.
Right, yeah. When I got that game was like kind of cool and slow in the beginning, and I was like the kid's charming, whatever. But when he shows up to your house, when you get back, I was just like, whoa, that was awesome. That was like a really cool intro battle or boss fight. Yeah, that's a good call. It's probably one of the best opening boss fights in a game.
Yeah, I mean, God of War in general. God of War in general, I had on mine. I have 4 of them on here from just like multiple games because the sheer scope of some of the things that fucking Kratos is doing when he's like riding on the back of a Titan, and like one section of an entire boss fight might be you crawling up his forearm or something like that. Like they turn their boss fights into more than just like learning the pattern or whatever. There's actually almost like a story to the actual boss fight where just the cinematic nature of it, and then goes from one piece to the next. So between
that's pretty sweet.
Sisters of Fate, Ares at the end of 1, Hades in 2, or it's Hades in 1. I don't know.
Could I go back and play those today and enjoy them?
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh yeah. They are.
They're not mindless. I wouldn't get bored. Good. Like, okay.
Third-person character action. I mean, they have like a fixed camera.
Devil May Cry games, and I couldn't get into those. I'm like, these are like lame. I don't know. I couldn't get into them. But I've always liked Greek mythology, so I probably just like it because of the world. And Kratos is pretty sweet.
Another one I have on my list. I don't know if you guys have either played this one, but the Xbox Ninja Gaiden, whether it's Ninja Gaiden Black or Sigma.
Yeah, those were good.
And I actually wrote that down. It's not the actual design of it. It was just the punishing nature of those fights where like you fuck up once and you might as well just start again. So the one with Alma and Ninja Gaiden 1 was just kind of ridiculous, but those games in general,
I mean, do not fuck around. Those games are punishing. And that's why I had like Cuphead, because all it is boss fights.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but dude, it's stunning, it's beautiful, and it's fun to play, especially with a friend. But that's all boss fights, and it's the same thing. They make one mistake, and it's like, oh god, that means I can't make any more from here on out, or something like that. Like if I'm going to make a mistake, it better be like late in the fight.
Yeah, that one's a good one. I still haven't beat it. That one's actually nice, though, because they kind of give you the simple and regular versions of the boss fights.
Oh, yeah, and I do the simple nowadays. So you can kind of
tone it down a little bit if you're not into getting the shit kicked out of you over and over and over again. But yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, one I want to bring up. It's really 2 from one game, which neither of you guys have played The Last of Us Part 2, have you?
No, I have no interest in playing it, but
neither of you are going to play it, so you don't care if I spoil it?
No, I already know the whole
I may plot, play it, but I have yet to get a PlayStation.
Spoiler warning, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that like you and that girl like go at it at the end or something like that.
So
the daughter of the scientist or whatever.
Yeah, so there's 2 times. So there's the 2 characters are Ellie and Abby. Ellie is one of the main characters from the first game. So
correct.
Yeah, so you spend the entire first game with her. And so halfway through the second game,
she's your companion in the first one, right?
Yeah, she's your companion in the first one.
I never finished.
And you play as her in the first half of the second game. But in the second half of the second game, you switch perspectives to this other girl named Abby, who was set up as the villain at the beginning of Part 2.
Antagonist, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as you play through as Abby...
Just smart.
Yeah, you begin to...
Risky.
Yeah, definitely. You begin to empathize with her and, see it from her perspective, which is kind of the whole point of the game. And then, like, at the midway point, you confront Ellie, and you basically, you two got to go at it. You got to beat the shit out of each other. And it's so crazy because you spent this entire first game with this character that you know and love, and you are basically fighting to the death with her. It turns out, like, they both, in the first fight against each other, they both let each other go each other their separate ways. And then,
but somebody, like, lost some fingers, right? Didn't Ellie lose fingers or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but...
Can't play guitar.
Yeah. So you change back to Ellie again towards the end of the game, and basically as Ellie, the last act is you're going back to find Abby to kill her because you can't get over this whole revenge plot, or Ellie can't get over this whole revenge plot she has for her. So she goes.
Well, of course, because we won't bring that part up, but we know why. Yes.
Right.
Can't blame her.
So yeah, she goes back to find Abby, and so you spent all these hours with Abby. She now becomes a character that you empathize with, and as Ellie, you have to go back and then beat the shit out of Abby. So it's like, I don't know. That's the first time in a boss fight where I've felt like I don't want to do this. I don't want to be
but why
beating up this character.
But they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I know they've done that with like Game of Thrones, with like Jaime Lannister. They introduced him in episode 1 as like the fucking worst guy in the world, pushing a kid out the window, banging his sister, like he's like a scumbag, and you don't want him to friggin' die by the end of the show. Like you're just like, I don't care, Jamie, survive, like. but we're not going to kill it. That's tougher. Like for was it Naughty Dog that made?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Naughty Dog. They knew what they were doing. They wanted you to have this.
Exactly.
I don't want to do it. You can't. You have to do it. Like I know this is total spoilers, but you have to do it.
You do have. Yeah. Like there was a few times where I was. Yeah, there was a few times where I was just waiting to see what would happen, and like the final boss fight, like Abby would just kill you, and then you'd have to restart it again. So you couldn't you couldn't choose to not do it.
Right.
So you had to do something you didn't want to do. And that, I don't know, that moment for me was pretty emotional. For a lot of people, that whole switcheroo thing didn't work, but it worked
it's a
very
risk,
well.
Metal Gear Solid 2 did it, and it was like I put the controller down when I had to play the next guy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I did not sign up for the other guy. Halo 2 did this with the Arbiter. We play Halo because we like being Master Chief. Master Chief is this like fucking awesome machine. And then the Halo 2 is like, it's bigger, it's better, and it is. Also, we didn't tell you, surprise, you're going to play as an enemy character and understand their perspective. Like, oh my god. It rubbed people the wrong. It's a risky move to do that to the gamers, for sure.
I think in my
you liked it?
In my personal opinion, Naughty Dog, I think, pulled it off so well.
They're one of the best studios out there.
Yeah.
I was instantly blown away with Uncharted 4, but go ahead.
So yeah, that was one I wanted to bring up because that was probably the most emotional I've been during a boss fight.
I want to talk about emotions in video games because we know that it's not often that you get to have your emotions pulled in a game. I don't know, but we'll save that for another time. But that's a good one.
I have some good ones for that. Cause that one,
I do too. Actually, yeah.
I'm pretty sensitive with that kind of stuff.
Edith Finch and all that shit.
Don't even bring up Edith Finch.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll start crying right here.
We're gonna get you to cry. I want to throw in real quick with boss fights. I don't know, would you call the Big Daddy a boss fight? But like when you're walking into an area, especially in the first game, you would just hear this, and it would just shake. And like I said, I wear headphones, and I would just hear like his moan, like a wail off in the distance. But I knew it was a Big Daddy, and he would just shatter the ground. And you think, oh, he's really close. I can tell a Big Daddy's really close. I can hear him. He's got to be right around the corner. But then he's farther. The Big Daddies are so big. And your controller would shake, and it would be so loud. And when you fought one, dude, it was scary. I don't know if that game's a scary game. It's kind of scary, but Big Daddies, man, it was like, and it's a boss fight you can avoid. Like typically, unless it's a plot point or something like that or whatever, you can not fight them. You can kind of go around them.
They really won't attack you until you try and go after the little sister or whatever. So
yeah.
You can kind of set yourself up a little bit. That kind of makes it a little more climactic when you actually pull that trigger and start to try and take the big boy down.
Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to bring that up. The ending boss fight or lack thereof for that game is trash. But the Big Daddies were always cool, and it's an interesting concept to have like these selective bosses that you could or could not encounter. I guess like Skyrim does that with dragons, where you're on a quest and you're like, all right, cool, I know where to go, and you walk out of an inn and there's like, and the dragon's attacking. You're like, I could save this village or I could just get the fuck out of here. That's always kind of cool. I know we're gonna go. Guards. What's that? Oh, I know, but they suck. They're so stupid. They just
sit there and shoot arrows for the next 4 hours up into the sky and just kind of just stand in the same spot. They'll take it down eventually though. They'll be good.
I just get as close as I can without it seeing me, and I would just whack the shit out of it, and it would go down. Yeah. Eric, I know we have a game. I don't know if you want to like throw any more. I don't know if you want to put one more boss fight in there, or if you're ready to perform some mayhem.
The only other boss fight I had on here for me was Father Gascoigne.
Legend of Zelda. What was it?
Father Gascoigne from Bloodborne. I know.
Dude, is Bloodborne really that good?
Dude, Bloodborne. Oh my god, it's the first Souls game, whatever Souls-like game that has actually grabbed me. I haven't beaten it yet. I probably played about 15 hours of it, but that Father Gascoigne fight, it's funny because I only brought this one up because everyone, like before I even played Bloodborne, everyone was talking about how hard this boss fight was. And they're like, oh, like it's near the beginning of the game. I think it's the second boss fight.
Hard and fun?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. And the reason I thought it was fun was because I beat him on my first try. So everybody was talking about how hard this boss fight was. That's all I heard. Like the Father Gascoigne fight, it's so difficult because it's the second boss fight in the game, and it's kind of like your like real test of your abilities in Bloodborne. Like whether you're gonna go forward with this and stick with it or not. So when I beat that on my first try, I was like, I don't know, I was just like stunned. Like I just had to go out there and be like, am I good at Bloodborne now because I beat Father Gascoigne on my first try? And everybody's like, yeah, you're pretty good. I'm like, okay, that boosted my confidence. So that's kind of why I kept going with Bloodborne. But I want to get back to it. But that was just a quick one I wanted to bring up.
I want to go back. I want to try it again. I tried playing that game like a friggin' third-person action game, and I couldn't get past like the first.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. I did the same thing happened with Dark Souls. Where like not the point of it. It's kind of like Ninja Gaiden or whatever. Same shit. It's just like slow down.
The original Dark Souls. Let's just remember.
Yeah,
that.
DOG exactly. And here's a question: why are they called boss fights? Like boss, like they are employees. And there's a system. There's a hierarchy. Like how can a monster be a boss? I don't know. It's weird. Why did the name stick? It's got to come from something. Like I can see like Double Dragon. And then, like, you get to the boss because, boss.
Right, right.
Like, these are, like, thugs, but...
Because it's like the most powerful, or not, like a powerful person above you or something. I don't know. I don't know where that term comes from. When you play a game like Bioshock, you get to the final guy and he, like, blows his own brains out. And you don't get to fight him. So it's like, sorry, spoilers for a game that's been out for, like, 10 fucking years, but shame on you for not playing that game. Yeah, but... whatever. Sorry for ruining it, Eric. I think you haven't played it yet. No, I don't. That's fine. Listen. There's been so many games that have been spoiled for me, but I just don't remember what the twist is or whatever. So
usually it's the ride there, not the destination, anyways.
Yeah. If I ever go back to BioShock, I don't think I'll remember that. Same with KOTOR. I'm pretty sure I've been spoiled on that, but I don't remember what the actual twist is.
I beat KOTOR and I don't remember it. That was long time ago. I remember the plot twist, but I don't remember.
About that.
Yeah, maybe it all happens at the end or something like that.
Keep it to myself.
But that's what I had. That was my list for like fights. Oh, I think I didn't play too much of Destiny 2. But Destiny 1, I remember the boss fights in that were really fun. A little spongy, but still. Mm-hmm. You had the teamwork and you had skill, and it was just that Bungie gameplay, that loop. So I just thought that was kind of, and obviously anytime you fight Bowser in a Super Mario game, it's always like a good boss fight. But Nintendo knows how to do boss fights, I guess.
Yep, it's the rule of three hits and the boss is dead in all Mario games.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we beat up this topic. So yeah, let's debut our first game on our first episode on our first podcast. So we're calling it the Metacritic Mayhem, right?
Yeah, Metacritic Mayhem.
Yeah, do you want to break this down real quick?
Yeah, we'll go over the rules real quick. So basically, right here we're doing 3 rounds, 2 games each. So for each game, in the first part, each of you guys will have to guess which game has the higher Metacritic score. And like I said, you guys can both guess the same game if you want. But if you get it right, you get 1 point. And then the tiebreaker for that round is going to be guessing the actual Metacritic score of that game. And whoever gets the closest gets 1 point. And if you get it exactly right, you get 5 points. So we're gonna do this.
Ooh.
Yep, we're gonna do this for 3 rounds, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's Brandon versus Dave for this first one. So we'll start with round 1 each.
I've forgotten more about games these days than I actually do remember. So we'll see how this goes.
You just have to guess a game and a number. I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
All right. So I didn't really make this intentional, but each round has a theme. So the first round is Halo themed, okay? So we're starting simple. This is Halo Combat Evolved versus Halo 2. Which game is rated higher on Metacritic? Brandon, you guess first.
Well, this is easy.
Oh, man. All right,
easy.
well, I think Halo 2.
I was going to say, disclaimer, these are both the Xbox versions. Not the PC.
Right, like OG when they first came out, like back in.
Yes. Yep.
Right, because Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2 came out on Xbox.
Yep.
And then Halo 3 was on 360. Halo 4 was on 360. Yeah, so, I mean, I was around for when these games came out. I was blown away by Halo 1. Halo 1 didn't have as much story, but personally, I'm more attached to Halo 1.
Okay.
I love Halo 1. I would personally give it a higher score, but I want to say Halo 2 just did everything that Halo 1 promised, but Live wasn't around. So Halo 2 kind of said, hey, here's what Microsoft wants to do with Xbox Live. And it was a game-changing moment for me. I remember that. So I'm going to go with Halo 2. There's a lot of hype, and I think it delivered. I don't remember people being pissed.
Dave, what say you?
I think I kind of agree with that same logic where the multiplayer aspect of 2 kind of puts it over the top where I don't know, it's a more of a well-rounded game. There's more to it. It's got a better replayability and longevity with being able to shoot your friends. So I also will go with Halo 2.
All right, both going with Halo 2. Okay. The higher rated game on Metacritic is Halo Combat Evolved.
Get out! Oh, wow! All right, sweet.
0 points.
That is so shocking.
Okay, so yeah, part 2 of round 1 is going to be guessing the Metacritic score, the actual score of Halo Combat Evolved. And whoever's closer gets the point.
All right.
Combat Evolved, that's the very first one, correct?
Yep.
That's
a
little remaster where you can hit the select and switch back and forth.
That's Master Chief Collection.
So we're talking about original Halo Combat Evolved on Xbox.
You're in the early 2000s kind of. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go. You know what? Dave can go first because I went first and I feel like I helped him.
This is. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty high, obviously, because it's the original Halo. Higher than Halo 2. It's going to be in the. It's got to be. Is this critical or audience score?
I believe it's. I'm not sure. It's whatever the big green number on Metacritic is.
I'm going to say 96.
Okay.
Damn you.
It's up there. It's high. It's got to be good.
For For Halo Metacritic, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
Halo.
This is
Evolved. Yeah.
This is the critic score this is based on critic reviews.
You said 96. That was my number, so I'm gonna go with 97.
So like
Brandon gets it exactly right at 97.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
So Brandon gets 5
I
points.
almost went with 98. Nice.
Brandon gets 5
5
points. Yep. 5 points.
And are we playing Price is Right rules, closest without going over for future?
I would say no, because then that could net out with like someone with like a 0-point round, which I'd rather have 1 point per round. So we'll go closest within high or low. Okay. So Brandon takes it. Brandon scores 5-0 to Brandon. Okay. Round 2.
What's our prize today too? Do we have a prize that we're playing for today?
The satisfaction of victory.
Yep.
I want all expenses trip to space camp.
Okay.
In the year 2158, I will give you all the money in my bank account.
All right, round 2.
If you win.
Round 2, the theme, both of these games came out in 2010. Okay, so...
Ooh,
the
okay, I love, this is a good era.
The two games... 2010 was a banger of a year. So the two games are Red Dead Redemption and Mass Effect 2. Which game is higher rated on Metacritic?
Oh, shit, man. Eric, you're making this hard. Wow. I never finished Red Dead Redemption. I remember that, but I played a lot of it. I liked it. John Marston was a great character.
Dave's got the Red Dead
Mass
poster
Effect
right
2 is the only good Mass Effect game in my opinion. I think the others are... I think the first under-delivered, but it was okay. It was fun. I beat it. And 3 was good. Then like the Xbox One came out and I just kind of stopped playing it. It was on the old console and I just never went back, and it was okay. 2 was really good. Man, this is a tough one. I don't know, Dave. You want to take a shot at this?
I know. I already know where I'm going.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah, which one?
First, shout out to the Mass Effect 2 mining rap song. That is it's a banger on YouTube. If you're ever out there looking around for some good video game rap. But I think the better, more polished game here is going to be...
Wait, hold on. Before you say anything, disclaimer, both these are the Xbox 360 versions for both of them. Just getting that out there.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sure, okay.
I'm going with Red Dead Redemption. I think that is one of the few games that I've gone through and 100%ed, hunting down every chipmunk in the woods and all that kind of crap. That one, I've beaten both games, but that one kind of stuck with me. And,
you hog-tied women and put them on train tracks and watch them get run over. We all know that, Dave. How dare you?
Who didn't do that?
Lie to us. I know. I'm glad that I didn't think of that, and then somebody told me you could do that, and then I did it. I'm glad I didn't just come up with that shit. I'm glad you picked that, Dave, because I'm going to go with Mass Effect 2. I remember Mass Effect 2 being the fucking huge deal, and I remember people really enjoying it. I want to say I even know the number, but I don't know. Eric?
Lock it in. Okay. The correct answer is Mass Effect 2. Brandon with 1 point. Another point. Brandon's up to 6.
Getting brutalized.
All right. I'm gonna give you a number.
Okay, Brandon's ready for the number.
98 for that Mass Effect 2.
Okay. All right. Dave, what about you?
Drink the train. Drink.
Yes, the plane, and the train. Am I guessing Red Dead or Mass Effect?
Well, Mass Effect 2 is the more higher rated game, so Mass Effect 2. I have to guess the score for that one.
Brandon guessed 98, and I had 97 written down for Red Dead, so I guess I'm going to go one lower, and I'm going to go with a 97 for Mass Effect 2.
You going 97 Mass Effect 2?
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you get the point for that one.
Hey! One for the good guys.
All right, so that means Brandon has
97?
6 points. The exact score was 96. So one off.
Really?
One off.
Wait, hold on a second. What the hell was Red Dead Redemption then?
95. 95.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Halo 2. I didn't say it. That was a 95 also.
Okay.
All right, so it's 6. Brandon has 6 points, and Dave has 1 point. So Dave, you gotta get exactly on this next one to be in it.
No problem.
All right, so just keep track of the score here. Okay, last round. The theme is Bethesda. I know we all love Bethesda here, so these are 2 Bethesda games. And probably these are 2 of my personal favorite games. I'm sure they're 2 of yours as well. We have Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, and Fallout 3. Both the Xbox 360 versions.
Okay. How could Skyrim not be better than Fallout? I'm sorry. How? I'm
Fallout
gonna go
3,
with Skyrim on
the
this.
best Fallout game is Fallout 3.
It was good. It was fun. I did like that. I don't really get into those post-apocalyptic games, but I remember enjoying it.
Can I have a release date year for these games?
Sure.
Well, Skyrim came out before Fallout.
Skyrim was 11/11/11.
Yeah.
Fallout 3 was
Fallout
October
came out
28th, 2008.
2008? It was before?
See?
So I must be
3 was
thinking of
08.
Oblivion, and then, okay. All right.
Skyrim was standing on the shoulders of Fallout 3, and that's how it got to its prominence, really. So, I think I'm going to go and give one of my personal favorite games the go-ahead here. I'm going to go with Fallout 3 over Skyrim.
So
considering
Dave,
it was earlier, and it was, I don't know, it was Bethesda's first run into Fallout game, and it kind of exploded the franchise from when it went from Interplay or Black Isle or wherever it was before and got in Bethesda's hands.
Okay, so Brandon, you guessed Skyrim. Dave, Fallout 3. It's
Yes.
Skyrim
Lock it in. Final answer.
is the higher rated game on Metacritic.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't remember anybody not praising that game. It was instantly adored. Now the question is, what was the score of that
What
game?
was the score of Skyrim on Xbox 360?
I don't mind. I don't mind giving my score first in this, because I think we all are aware that Bethesda releases buggy games. We already beat up the audio, the voice acting. That's not it's not a perfect game. When I look at games like what we've been playing lately, we've been lucky to play some amazing, perfect games. And if I looked at something like Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's not one of my favorite games, but I'm just blown away that game exists. And then I look at what they've done in so much detail. Then I look at Bethesda, and it's they always had that buggy shit in their games, and it's just kind of wonky, and the acting's always bad, but
the animation's bad.
The animation's bad. Go to a city and it's got 50 people in it, kind of thing. But
by the way,
get past that stuff, it's.
By the way, the score is 7. Brandon, Dave 1. So it is impossible for Dave to win. So you're just playing. You're just playing for pride at this point.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll just wrap it up and just say that Skyrim, knowing that it's not a perfect game, but it is damn good and we all adore it, I'm going to give it a 90. God, how do you give that game it's not, it's got issues. I'm going to give it an 89. I'm stupid. I'm just going to give it an 89.
This is the Xbox 360 version, which was the better version out of the console versions. PS3 was not as good as the Xbox 360, but that's just a disclaimer. But
okay,
are you locking in?
Right,
89.
What do you think? I went low. Yeah, I was just thinking, could it break in the 90s without
that is a batshit insane answer. I'm gonna go with a 95.
Dave is 1 off. The score was 96. So Dave gets that point, but Brandon wins overall.
Trying to factor in, you're basically measuring how many 9s or 10s it has. Which way did it tip the scale? Nobody gave it an 80 something.
I did. I just gave it an 89.
In the future, I'll have to choose.
Man, that's not fair though.
Yeah.
I mean, it is amazing, but it's amazing. But like, there is some nasty shit in that game. Like, if any other games did that, like, if you were playing whatever, like God of War, and the kids' acting was just so bad and so annoying, would that game get all the praise it got? If that kid, no, of course not. But Bethesda gets away with this. And maybe not these days. After Fallout 77, they got their hands slapped big time. Where like, okay, you got to clean it up. We just saw No Man's Sky get run through the rafters for this stuff. You guys are going to do the same thing, so that's fine. But back then, like, come on, guys, like,
you leave 76 alone.
Oh, by the way,
I'm just saying Bethesda.
Yeah, that's Skyrim was another episode.
Skyrim was a 96. Fallout 3 was a 93 on Metacritic. So yeah,
it's clearly inferior.
I chose all highly rated games for this one,
we'll
have to mix it up next time.
Yeah, you can have more fun with it, like getting them over in the lower scores. Like, how bad was it, and how bad was this one? You know, like,
I do like the idea of choosing shitty games for the next one
that we all played or something like that. It's tricky though, because what's funny, Dave is an Xbox guy, and he hasn't really played all the Halos. I've read books. I'm a Halo guy. I have a lot of history with Halo. I think Halo 5 was friggin' awesome. The campaign was fun, but whatever. But the gameplay was amazing. Infinite, I hope, delivers. But yeah, you don't know. I mean, like, Red Dead Redemption, the first one, I only played probably like 10 hours, 12 hours of it, and then I stopped playing it. Maybe a little bit more, but I don't finish games, but I guess whatever. That's not the point of that game. I guess you could probably even give me some popular games like Super Smash Brothers, which I play a little bit of, and I'll be able to give a score. I'd be curious. I bet that game's really high, the first one. I remember that game being huge when it came out. But all right, cool. So I won. We're gonna have to come up with like team names. Because I won. Whatever. I'll just we'll start the rotation. We'll go you, and then me, and then we'll let Dave do the next one. But yeah, that was fun. That was cool.
That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Eric.
All right. Do you guys have anything you want to say before we wrap up our first episode here? I guess not. Nope. Okay. Well, I had left.
No, I think I'm good. Note to everybody out there: just play more games.
Yeah, play games. And one of the things we all have in common is we all have kids. They're all young. I have a 6-year-old. Dave's daughter's a little older. 7, right?
7 and a 4.
Yeah, 7 and 4. I have a 6 and a 2.
I have an almost 2-year-old.
Yeah, so young. But we'll probably be talking a lot about that. It'll be coming up in our. I think that's what's going to make our podcast a little bit interesting, is because we'll have that perspective of, like I said earlier in the show, about just understanding digital projects, but being lifetime gamers, and then just balancing whatever, man. I don't give a shit. I'm excited about Star Wars still, and video games, and I love this stuff, and I know a lot of people do. I mean, so many people out there are older and they love World of Warcraft, and that's cool. So we don't play it, but more than welcome to listen to the show. I think what we do is just just have a unique perspective, you know, and kind of talk about some fun topics. But yeah, I think that's it. So this is the first episode, and we're out. I'll see you guys in episode 2.